just behind my head. And is that leading me to the place where I'll actually get more hints?
What's the conversation sound like?
It just sounds like background people talking, that there seems to be something that I need to hear, but I'm not quite there yet.
Well, what that is, that's you doing the same thing with that you're doing with the other. It's like you feel like you're on the verge of something that you can't quite hear. And that I can't quite hear it is the dominant vibration that's going on within you. Feel the difference between saying, I know I'm being guided, and in time I'll receive an impulse, and saying, there's guidance being given and I can't hear it. Can you feel the difference in those two approaches? And so while it seems like a very hair-splitting, not very important difference, is the difference between being in the question or being in the receptive mode of the answer. So do you feel urgency about your motion forward?
Yeah, I believe I do.
We think you do too. But why do you think that you feel an urgency about your motion forward? If it is really true, and it is, that you can be or do or have anything, and that you're in the process of figuring out how to let that flow, then what do you think the urgency is about? It's self-inflicted.
It's me.
It's
yes.
Self-inflicted, but why? Why are you doing that to yourself? Why are you not just more easygoing about it? Why are you not more willing to just let it come to you? The question that we're really asking is, why do you keep hammering at the question instead of just relaxing and knowing that the answer will come?
And I guess that's always the way I've practiced it in the past, and I'm trying to break from the past at this point.
It's all right, but the question that you asked just now about being able to hear something in the background, when you meditate and you really quiet your mind, when you are in a position to hear something, you'll hear it. And when you're trying to hear it before you're ready, it sounds like that. And feel how that fits with the earlier part of your question. When you're trying to make something happen, we really want to get to this place where you all have a sort of, aha, I just got that breakthrough moment, because this is the piece for all of you. If you are asking the question, what is it that I want, and why doesn't it come, and where is it, and when will it be, and who will bring it, and where will I find it? When you are asking questions, you are not in the mode to receive the answer. So you've got to put some separation between the question mode and the receiving mode. Esther's begun not so long ago, because she really gets that. She knows that she's in the receiving mode right now, and she's not asking anything. She's leaving all of that to you. But in her own personal life experience, when a question occurs to her, she just writes it down. She's been writing down really what you would call ordinary things, like with this new employee that's coming on board as soon as we get back to San Antonio, what is the best utilization of his talent? Now that's a question that she's asking. Now if Esther, in the moment of asking that question, decides that she's going to figure out the answer, she's just going to mess it all up. Because she has that question and no answer, her question messes up the answer. Can you hear what we're getting at? What I don't know messes up my ability to know. So if I'm trying to make this the moment where I ask the question and hear the answer, what? The fact that I think I don't know the answer, and clearly she doesn't know the answer because that's why she's asking the question. So she could stay up all night every night. She could write pages and pages and pages of what will this person do, and come up with very few answers that will be satisfying to her, because she's not allowing the answers to come because she's still doing the questions. So, we're getting somewhere, aren't we? So humans, you work like this. It doesn't work out very well for you, but this is the way most of you work. So you walk around in your physical bodies. It's a lovely thing that you do. And you ask a question and somebody else offers you an answer. You ask questions and you expect an answer. You ask a question and you expect an answer. It's the way you sort of dialogue with each other. And here's something that we really want you to take to heart just for a moment. A lot of people that are giving you a lot of answers don't really know the answers, but it's not stopping them from giving them to you anyway. So what happens is you get used to You become accustomed to just talking about, here's my question, where's my answer? Here's my question, where's my answer? Here's my question, where's my answer? And we want you to understand that the answers are all queued up for you, but when you're asking the question, you can't receive the answer. You got to put separation between what you want to know and when you're ready to hear it. That's why sometimes answers come to you in your dream state. That's why sometimes they come to you when you're just coming out of meditation. You've got to put some distance between that question and answer. Now, how do you put distance between? We're talking about vibrational distance. Are you getting this? How do you put vibrational distance between your asking or your problem and your answer or your solution? How do you put some distance between it? Well, slumber puts distance between it. Changing the subjects puts distance between it. Meditation puts some distance between it. Making lists of positive aspects about things that are easy for you to write positive aspects about does. There are all kinds of things that you can do to get off the subject of that particular problem. And we're not asking you to get a lobotomy or to take some heavy dose of some drug. We're not asking you to put yourself in a comatose state. We're not asking you to relinquish your humanness or your now reality. We're just asking you to focus a little less. We're just asking you to focus a lot less on the problem and on the asking. If we could give you a chart or some sort of a graphic that would give you some sense of how well you've done in asking your questions, you would say to us, well, according to this graph that I'm looking at, I never need to speak that question again. And that is really what we want to present to you. You don't have to keep presenting the question, because the universe knows what your question is. Your vortex holds the answer. Your inner being knows the answer. Your inner being knows where you stand in relationship to the answer. Your inner being is giving you things all day, every day. And so the question we're asking you is, why aren't you receiving the answer? Because you're too balled up in the question. We want you to just give it a rest. Just give it a rest. You've asked the questions. You've done the due diligence. You've sifted through the contrast. You are worthy beyond our ability to express it to you. There's not one more thing that you need to do in order to get yourself right about this. But you do need to forget about it. You do need to turn it over to the universe. You do need to let the universe do what you are wanting. Some years ago, and this will apply to you so well, to all of you, Esther was in a sort of mental quagmire because she was overwhelmed with things to do, really wanting to accomplish things and really wanting to feel relief from having accomplished them. But she was in a situation where she was really focused on time shortageness, and she had a long list of things to do, and she was all balled up in it. And the harder she worked, the more balled up she got. She just couldn't quite break free of it. And even sleep didn't give her much respite, because the first thing in the morning when she would wake up, she would get her list again and off she would go again. So finally one day she was sitting and having lunch and in a more relaxed situation. And we suggested, they were sitting at a table with the whole top of the table was covered with butcher paper. And so we suggested that she take a writing instrument from her purse and just follow our suggestions for a little bit. And so she sort of playfully played our silly game. So we drew a line down the center of her big page, and we said to her, Esther, make a list of the things you think you need to do right away. She balked at it a little bit. She said, you're kidding, because there were so many. She thought it would take all afternoon to write them all. We said, just write 10 or 20 of the things that feel most urgent to you to accomplish. And so she wrote them down, and then we said, now on the other side of the placemat, write universe's side of the placemat. And now look at your list and be more realistic, because she'd written enough on her list that 5 or 10 people couldn't have done it today. And we said, what of those things would you like to delegate to the universe? Just highlight the things that you're really going to do, and then move everything else over to the other side. So she looked down her list, and she looked at her watch, and she calculated what time it was, and she said, well, I'll do this because it really matters, and I'll do this because it really matters, and I'll do this because it really matters. None of it because I want to, because I want to, because I want to. All because I need to, because I should, because I have to. And then we said, all right, now move everything else over to the universe's side of the placemat. What do you mean? We're going to take care of the things you're not going to do. We're going to do them. Really? Yeah, just move them over. This is our side of the list. This is your side of the list. Just move them over. So she did. She moved them over. Took a little while. She moved them over. And then we said, there. Now you get on with your list and we'll get on with ours. Well, to Esther's delight, she got almost all of her things done. And we got many more things done in that day. Someone she wanted to call called her. Several things happened, just fell into place, because in her moving them to the universe's side of the placemat, she released, just for a moment, just while she was playing the game with us, she released her feeling of responsibility to the accomplishment of them. Are you hearing what we're getting at? And as she gave herself permission to let up on what needed to be done just for a little bit, she took the pressure off that had been holding things apart. Because everything on your list of to-dos or to-bes or to have, everything on your list is all queued up and coming to you. And through your crack of least resistance will weave its way comfortably into your experience. But when you're all balled up in all this responsibility and all this stuff I have to do or I need to do or I should do, all this proving your value to someone else, all this justifying to others what a good person you are, all your getting the right mark on the chart, or you're earning your way to something. You have all these things that you've picked up along your physical trail that aren't true, they're not real, but you use them vibrationally to hold away from you the things that you want. So when